Welcome to part 3 of our one-shot episode, Faerun by Torchlight. Tonight we'll hopefully be putting all of the different plot threads to rest. Things were put into motion in game time the previous night with a murder most foul of Torvin Van Dyne.
He's not dead yet.
Not yet. Not yet dead. Merchant in Baldur's Gate, where Meat, Percy, and Noman were the initial detectives on scene. They brought Bertram Van Dyne, the victim's son, in for questioning. Upon which Percy and Meat engaged in various forms of psychological torture. Bertram still maintains his innocence. A special interrogator was brought in, named Elytrana, played by Clues. Percy, played by the Viking goat here. Mm-hmm. And was brought in probably one of the most uncomfortable scenes in Twitch history. To further try to determine whether Bertram Van Dyne was, in fact, the perpetrator of this. Since then, Meat decided to leave to go pursue some leads to see if any alibis checked out. Hence why Meat is no longer with us for this particular game. And Noman pretty much completed some analysis and determined that there was a paralytic put into the wine.
Yeah, that's
right. of the victim, which would explain why he did not react to anyone coming into what apparently looked like coming in through the window.
Yeah.
During this, Chaz and Trent, two of Bertram's drinking buddies, were brought in from interrogation. Were immediately slapped into what did you put? It's like a stock.
Well, you didn't.
Oh, what's the call?
That yet? They were in two separate rooms.
Yes,
they were in two separate rooms,
but
I immediately had them strapped in to pillories.
Yes, the pillories.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And
then hung from hooks in the ceilings of two different rooms.
So the plan for this evening in this game is to not only see if we can solve this mystery, but to also prove the mathematical theory of the prisoner's dilemma. So maybe you'll learn something along the way.
I don't remember the prisoner's dilemma.
It's where you put two prisoners in two different rooms and tell them if you confess and if you throw your other friend under the bus, you get. I think it's you get away, but they've got to serve 5 years. If the other person does it and you don't confess, but if you both confess to it, you only get 2 years. If nobody confesses, everybody gets 5 years. And it's a mathematical thought experiment. So see, we already learned something. I think we should quit while we're ahead.
We're done. We wrapped.
Because it can only go downhill from here.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.
The butler did it. Game's over.
Ha!
The butler did it. It was the butler with the candlestick in the foyer.
No, we know. It was not. It was done with some kind of sharp cutting instrument, and it was in his study.
See, that's what they want
you to candles can't be sharp.
It was a sharp candlestick.
Very, very sharp candlestick.
It was a sharpened candlestick.
I saw that episode of Hunter. I remember, the cop show from the 80s where someone shot some dude with a bullet made of ice. I saw that episode. I remember how that worked.
Did they actually do that?
Yeah.
They actually did that.
Oh, Lord. So anyway.
Just remember, everything's been done before.
Yeah.
It's the wee hours of the morning in Baldur's Gate. A thunderstorm has rolled in from the coast. So, you can hear some peals of thunder inside the watch precinct. You can hear the water hitting the roof and sheeting down the windows and everything. But the two men, and we use that term loosely, but the two men you have in for interrogation probably wouldn't be aware of any of this, locked within the depths of the interrogation room. And when we last left, Percy had come in with what he's presenting as tortured.
From various things that we had, like the police had confiscated, we had confiscated theatrical equipment from someone who was like fake torture implements and gory looking aprons and stuff like that. And I was wearing that, and I was walking into one of the chambers after making some screaming sounds at the door.
It was from a failed. It was from a
Just
failed
shake your head and
performance
watch
of
for one of
Mordenkainen's
the-
Monster.
Oh God. Sorry, what was that, Clues?
What were we calling the two-way? Well, what were we calling the two-way mirrors?
Oh, crud.
They were
They're like scrying
portal
pools, but like on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I see you and you're up, and I just kind of shake my head.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna
looking to
watch
see. I'm looking to
from
see if we have
whichever
any
one
terms
you're
here. The only terms I have written down are douchebag, suspect, bingo,
Yeah,
gleeful,
which was awesome.
gleeful murder face,
Mhm.
rowdy douchebag, and
Rowdy douchebag.
rowdy douchebag, and then it was hang on, douchebag McGrabby hands.
Yeah.
Douchebag,
Oh yeah,
grabby
douchebag
hands.
with grabby hands. That was a
Yes.
that was what's his name?
To warn you guys, if I do drop out, it's because of a lightning storm. You probably can't hear the thunder, but there's some heavy rolling thunder out there.
Ooh, it's for the mood.
It's for the mood.
the mood.
So Percy,
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you starting with?
Hmm?
Oh, start with Chaz. I don't like Chaz.
Oh, which one did I start with? I didn't write that down.
I thought you didn't start yet.
No, I walked into one of the chambers and I with a tool,
Trent.
with a disgusting looking
Trent?
It was Trent.
hook
I have that
that looked
circled.
like it was, oh good,
Okay.
covered
I'm
in
gonna go
gore.
watch him torture Trent.
And I basically said, I have been told everything. Confess. And and then Brian said, okay, we'll pick this up next time.
So why don't we start you off with
Uh-huh.
either performance or persuasion?
Okay.
Some kind of I think that might be a good way to see if, because Chaz and Trent were brought in. They're like, don't you know who my daddy is? And
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I had taken, oh man, I did not take performance as my secondary thingy. I took perception. I really kind of wish it was performance. So it's just a regular roll the 20, right?
Yeah, roll the 20. Roll the die.
6.
So Trent looks at you. You can see he's obviously a little put off because, here's torture elements, implements, that at least what he's perceiving is that. And, he's locked in the pillory here, and this is not something he's used to doing, without paying for it. And, but he kind of gets this sneer and he's just like, you're not going to use that.
Does he actually say that?
Yeah, he says, I know what you guys are and are not allowed to do, and my father would he'd have your badge. So I'm not, do your worst.
You are right about one thing. I am not going to use this. I put the tool outside the door. I take another one from the basket. And it looks a little bit cleaner and unused. I'm going to use this one. And the other one was like a hook.
Yeah.
On the end of a stick.
Yeah.
This one basically looks like a garden shears. Just like I've taken garden shears out of a. And I'm like, I'm going to use these.
Snip, snip, snip.
And you'd be surprised what happens when murder suspects are involved.
Persuasion check.
Murder suspects. This is what Trent is saying to you. He's saying murder suspects. They were never told like why they were brought in. They were just sort of Nobby and Clanger just went and grabbed them.
Right. They grabbed them off the street and threw them in.
Yeah.
That's right.
This was a very shock and awe situation. Where
yeah. Flashbang, bam, bam, bam.
Suddenly exactly. This is what happens when the recruit gets off the bus at Paris Island. It's just like drill sergeant screaming in your face. This is essentially like their because they're still he's still probably a little drunk. He's not not slosh drunk, but he still hasn't slept off everything yet.
Oh wait, when I roll this 20, am I supposed to add my modifier?
Yeah.
Oh jeez. It doesn't matter. It was an 8 then.
Okay.
He still wouldn't have bought
Right.
it. All right, so I start walking forward and I'm like eyeing him, like, where am I supposed to put this? I'm like, what am I going to do with this? And my eyes go directly towards, of course, his crotch,
Mm-hmm.
because that's probably where he's most concerned about right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I start saying things like, well, you see, when you start covering up for murderers, and especially people who think they can get away with things, a lot of rules just get thrown out when powerful people are murdered, and other powerful people don't like that. So I get to do this. And in my mind, I would like to think that I sort of look like that dream sequence from The Big Lebowski, where the dudes are chasing after him with the shears in this dude's mind. But all I'm really doing is just like looking at the shears and walking up to him, like trying to get a good feel of the shears and the flex and stuff. And
Like the weight and the balance.
yeah,
Like trying to,
and
what's
like
the best angle? How am I gonna?
I'm like holding it like this, and like I'm just supposed to get the information out of you. And to be perfectly honest, they don't care how I get it. And I'm sort of jabbing him a little bit off here, a little bit off there, too high, too low. I'm
Oops!
like,
Like
Through
try
the
to get the right
bars.
angle. Do I come in from underneath?
yeah,
Should I? Let's do another check here now that we're actually.
good old Trusty Green. Fuck you, Trusty Green. That was a 6. No, I'm sorry. Yes, that was a
A
6.
6 modifier. So he's perturbed by this, but more by the act of you just jabbing him in the crotchal region with these shears.
Uh-huh.
And it's more like would you just stop it? Leave me alone. And he's just trying to, like, as best he can, because he's locked in this pillory, so he doesn't really have a lot of, like, free movement.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to kind of just, like, move away as best as he can.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just like, Jesus Christ, what are you talking about? What do you mean murder suspect? I don't understand.
Well, your buddy, and I act like I'm going to look at a piece of paper, then I sort of kind of remember. Chaz, he seemed to know all about it. He threw you right under the bus. Bertram. Why did I forget Bertram's name? Bertram. Yeah, so we know that you helped. We know that you're covering up. Chaz told us. You're in on it. Bertram murdered his father. And you're going the same route for helping him. To the gallows.
And with that, like, you can see he pales a little bit with this. He's just like, Bertram killed his dad? When did Bertram kill his dad?
Oh, come on. We know that you don't have to act with me.
Bertram,
I love this.
he was with us all night.
I know. That's the idea. When you help someone murder someone, they're with you all night. I get how these cover stories work, buddy. I'm a cop. This is what we figure out.
Been there, done that, dude.
And I'm like, as I finish saying, I'm like, yeah, these shears are ridiculous. And I sort of start walking back towards the front door. I'm going to get something else. I'll be right back.
He just closed the door behind him, or behind you, or are you actively getting the next?
I'm just going to sort of lean out the door and like pretend I'm rifling through some things. I already have something lined up that I want to use, or pretend I want to use.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just an assortment of gore covered tools, because these are all props from theater. And I'm like, every time I bring one up, I'm like, oh, this is disgusting and dirty. Why don't people cleaning these things? And I'm putting it back and
It sure does
taking a different one.
clang.
Yeah. And they're even more disgusting than the last one, and more horrific looking tools, like random spikes coming all over the place. This one's got a button that makes this go thing to this and spinny bits, and like.
And in reality, these are all, like, just like completely mundane devices that are used for like different theater effects. That
Yeah. Or they're that, or they're actual like gardening implements that some guy like this would have no idea that's what they are, because he's never had soil in his hands in his entire life.
Good God, no! What on earth is that?
It's earth. um, and I'm basically just taking these things like, nobody's ever cleaning these things. Why am I always want to clean these things? And eventually I give up. I just get a big bucket, like large enough for a human being. Was that the puppy?
It is the puppy. Say hi.
Puppy.
Oh, Percy's
Yeah.
totally now. I get a big bucket.
That would be funny though if Percy was like, and this is, oh my God, is that was that a
Is that
puppy?
a puppy?
Ugh.
It's a puppy. So eventually I get a bucket that looks like it's just large enough for a person to stand in. I shove it underneath his feet, and then I come out with a knife, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna start draining you. You'll talk eventually.
Start poking him from underneath.
Peek, peek.
Yeah, so I'm effectively I'm pretending I'm going to bleed him like a hog for slaughter at this point.
Oh. So he's like, we were out at the bar. We were bar hopping all night. I wouldn't cover for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a douchebag. We use him for drink money. He likes to pretend we went to school with him, but he's a loser. He's got daddy's money, so we use his money instead of ours. That's the only reason we hang out with him. I wouldn't cover for that asshole.
If you say so.
I've got better friends. He's just a free drink. He's a meal ticket.
Do I believe him?
You do.
Oh.
I'll say this.
His sincerity.
There's sincerity there. You feel like your years of being an officer, years of investigating this, that it's like, yeah, okay, I could buy that. You may not be telegraphing this to him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do a perception check.
Insight?
Insight, yeah.
Oh, that's a lot better. 19.
Yeah. You're pretty convinced that this rings of the truth.
Okay.
That he wouldn't that he would not provide an alibi for this guy for something like this. It's not like, oh yeah, no, we were out hanging out and for something minor,
Mm-hmm.
this is a big one. He's not going to take a hangman's noose for this guy.
Okay. So Percy's going to look a little sheepish and and then say, I feel a little bad then because, I feel a little bad for your friend then. I should maybe go apologize next door. Because I have been pretending I was torturing his other friend.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as he knows, I have just come back from ruining his person with various tools. Then you're absolutely certain you were hanging out with him all night.
I thought there was like an hour gap that we had found out last time.
Was there?
I believe so.
When we established our timeline.
I'll believe you. I'm trying. This is. Did we establish the timeline? Yeah, I know we established that. Yeah, he had stepped out.
I know we went to the timeline, but I thought there was like an hour difference between when he said he was home and not home.
Yeah, there's a discrepancy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a discrepancy with him saying when he last. I think the discrepancy was when he said he last saw his his father,
Hmm.
right? And then when
Yeah.
they had said, and I think they had said that he had had an argument that was it that night or this is I should know this. I'm the fucking dungeon master.
This is your story. I think he was saying that it was a couple days ago, and then the wife, the mom, said that it was the night before.
Yeah, the night before he had actually shown up, and they had a
Yeah.
loud argument about money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but for the night itself, for the night in question, I don't believe that there was. Um, I think for the time period in question, that I don't think he had claimed that he was out drinking all night. That's what Meat went to go discover,
Hmm.
and I think they had found that that in fact that yeah a cab had been called or a
Cart.
Carriage.
Yeah. Carriage.
yeah the Faerun equivalent of
The Fuber.
a what?
The Fuber.
The Fuber. Yeah, they called
Fantasy Uber.
They called
Fantasy
Fuber.
Uber. Yeah, they called the Fuber.
Uber.
I'm running that down because that needs to be a thing.
Faerun Uber. Fuber.
Fantasy Uber. Fuber.
Fantasy Uber. A Fuber.
So yeah, so he was out getting that information.
Does Percy know any of this stuff? Because I get the feeling Percy hasn't been informed of some of these things.
Probably he has probably not been informed of that. So he's only going on what's because Meat had gone out to try to determine about this alibi.
Yes.
But the so right now the only alibi he has is what Trent has just said that you know of. If Meat were to report back, he would be able to tell you that. But that's we're getting meta there, so we don't have to worry
Yeah,
about diving
no.
into that.
So yeah, Percy's gonna ask him like, so are you sure you were hanging out with him all night? Because that doesn't really line up for some of the things we're hearing.
Yeah, Yeah, we were we were hanging out all night. Yeah, we just drinking. We were bar hopping. Got drunk, went home.
What time was that?
1, 2, somewhere around there.
And when
And
were-
as the DM, I'm saying that because I really don't remember what I had.
I
I'm sure Bob has notes on this. I got a
Yes.
page of notes.
I recall that we came to the. When did we come to the house? It was
Oh,
after
wait.
that. Or before that.
No, the murder
the
itself.
death. The murder
Yeah.
was at like 3 or 4 or something.
No. The murder was around, around or just prior to midnight.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And the you guys were there between midnight and 1. I forget the exact time that we started the adventure.
Okay.
If only I had written it down somewhere.
We had too many notes.
I was a terrible student. But yeah, so if you were to do the timeline at 2 a.m., you guys were still doing your investigation. You would at that point at 2 a.m. you would probably between 2 and 3. That's probably when you brought Bertram in. So it was like right after
Yeah.
he got dropped off. That's when you guys brought him in and started your whole
Torturing
paperwork.
him.
Yeah.
Psychologically torturing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, Fubar. Fuber. Yeah,
Fuber.
absolutely.
Fuber.
Fuber.
I'm adding an extra U just because.
Fubar. It's the Fuber.
I'm getting the feeling we've been. This is not in character. I'm getting the feeling we've been chasing our tails on some of this.
If you'll remember, the
Maybe
house
not.
had we need to find basically the magic user because there was the house had the magical trace, or oh, wait, it had no magical. The corpse had no magical residue, but the heart,
The heart had ruins on it.
Yeah, it had
yeah.
runes that would prevent resurrection.
And then
You had clues that were not clues to person, clues the actual thing. Um, that it looks like the entrance and egress was over the roof.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Um, that the wounds were performed in a surgical manner.
yeah, precision manner.
Hmm. That
And we had already talked to Greta. She was the housekeeper that was getting blackmailed for Nookie.
for lack of a better term, yes, blackmailed for Nookie.
Yep. Um.
On Limp Bizkit's newest album.
Oh
Limp
God.
Biz- I did it all.
Are
For
they
them.
even around anymore?
Yes,
Unfortunately,
they are.
Tape is this. Yeah. We're
There
going
was
down
no
holes.
defensive wounds, so he either knew the person or he was surprised. The window was
Uh.
broken inwards. So we need to wait. Did we ever talk to the wife,
hmm
Ilsa?
We
talked to
did.
Ilsa. Oh wait, you guys talked to Ilsa.
We
right?
did. Yes.
Okay.
And wife not feeling well because of allergies, so she went to bed early.
And then did you guys ever talk to Greta?
We did. But not beyond the not after finding out that she was being blackmailed. I believe we somehow determined that she was not involved, even because of that. Even though she was being blackmailed. I don't think we ever asked her if she had friends or family that she had told anyone about that.
No, I don't believe that came up in any of the questioning.
But this does seem.
Can I roll perception on my DM if I should bring Greta in?
Does your insight tell you we need to talk to this Greta?
Yeah.
um,
Right now I'm drawing blanks because for me, the only person that I was leaning towards was Greta or the wife.
yeah, my first instincts immediately were Bertram had either done it or had paid someone to do it. Jeez, he's not covering. He may actually know something, so I should probably ask him some other questions.
Yeah, because I just got done with Bertram. So if you want to go in there and play Scary Drop with Bertram, you can because we still have him.
Well, no, I should ask this other dude something first. Like, has Bertram been hanging out with people or meeting people that you? So before I go, okay, this is in character. So before I go next door and start apologizing for all the horrible things I did to your friend, I have some other questions for you. Did you see Bertram communicating with anyone recently of an untoward nature? Stabby, stabby, kill, or magic, murder, mystery, bust person. I don't know.
Stabby, stabby, kill, huh?
That's all in character. He's just like stabby, stabby, kill, while holding a knife that was
Just
eventually
sort
going
of
to
waving
use to
around
bleed him.
nonchalantly. Just,
Like stabby, stabby, kill, or murder mystery guys.
he's sitting
That
there with
sort
the
of stuff.
knife, and he's sitting there like, have you ever? Was he talking to someone? And kind of like like in the ear, cleaning eye. Uh-oh. Crap. Can you guys still hear me?
What did it freeze up? Yeah, we heard you just fine.
Okay, a little bit. I just got a little notice, but anyway, so stabby, stabby, kill, kill. So he says, I mean, he hated his dad, and he told everyone that he hated his dad, but the other night we were out, and he she do? I wasn't even paying attention. She,
In chat, it's in chat. Sorry. Let's just.
she
She did it.
he says, yeah, it was. There was one guy who seemed like he was listening really, really intently, and I think I saw them talking later in the bar, and it was when Bertram was complaining about his dad not giving him money. But I don't know who the guy was, and I don't know.
Do you remember what he looked like?
Yeah, he was kind
Distinct.
of oily. He had like this black hair, but it was kind of like stringy and like and kind of slicked.
Mm-hmm.
And he was probably about our age, pale. I mean, nice clothes. He had a nice tunic
Mm-hmm.
on, but he kind of seemed like awkward
Awkward.
around. He just sort of sat by himself, and it was rare that he like really made eye contact with him. I just remember it being weird. Usually,
Is he regular at some place that you guys go to?
I think I've seen him a couple times. Yeah, it's a bar called the Helm and Cloak.
Hmm.
I think I've seen him there a few times, but that's the only person I remember like Bertram really talking to that stands out. But I mean, like I said, he was with us all night, and I wouldn't cover for him. But yeah.
Helm and cloak. All right, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna leave him there.
Wait, you're not gonna let me out of this?
Oh,
You're still a suspect, man. Like, what do you mean? Let you out? You're still a suspect. What do you... As I'm closing the door, I'm like, this guy, let him out. Yeah, this is hilarious. And I close the door. And then I go next door to the other soundproofed room that has Chaz in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I come in there with the hook. And with the same deal, I'm like, your friend, he's told me everything. What happened to the guy with the greasy hair? What's his name?
He's like, well, roll, let's get a roll for that. I want to see how convincing you are of this. The guy with the greasy hair.
Oh, performance, which was just charisma.
Yeah.
Okay. 16.
16. Okay. He's like, guy with the greasy hair. We saw him last night at the other bar, and Bertram was talking to him, and he just starts rattling off. Like, you're pretty sure this guy would tell you like the code to his dad's safe at this point. He's just like, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
He's just like sweating. I mean, you could tell Chaz is not used to being in a situation like this. He's kind of like a bit of a slight guy,
Mm-hmm.
Not used to not having his larger friends around him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the yippy dog that stands next to the bulldog.
It should have started with him.
But he's just like, yeah, we saw him at the bar. It was at the Helm and Cloak, and we saw him. It was I don't know what he and Bertram were talking about, but he was kind of a weird dude, and we didn't really talk to him. And I've seen him a few times, but I don't know who he is. I really don't know who he is. Oh my god! Can I please call my dad?
do I get my one free messenger?
Your what?
Has he get his
One free messenger?
Yeah. Yes.
We don't have calls.
Yeah,
I get my one free messenger.
Do I get my one free scroll? I get a free scry, don't I? I need my barrister.
For a moment there, I thought he was basically I had oh god, you remember Goonies and Chunk. I was like,
Yeah.
there was one time in third grade
Yeah, you're pretty sure at this point he would actually like confess to like the time he stuck like some girl's hair in an inkwell. You know,
Oh
like
man.
when he was like 8,
Oh god.
and the
Um,
time he stole the mutton and blamed the serving girl. You know, this.
Look, kid, it's okay as long as you tell me what this guy's name is and where you meet him and stuff like that. Everything's going to be okay.
He's like, I seriously, I don't know the guy's name. I've seen him a few times at the Helmet Cloak, and oh my god, what are you gonna do with that hook? And I really don't know. I've never really seen him outside of that. Maybe walking around that neighborhood, but oh my god, seriously, what's the hook for? Like, what are you gonna do with the hook?
I just like turn heel, walk out, slam the door.
Oh my
Just
god,
gonna
can you
let
please
him.
let me out of here? Oh my god, can you let me out of here? Yeah, this guy
Oh my
cracked.
god.
This guy was like a poached egg. It took only the slightest little bit of prodding and just
Whoosh.
gushed his beautiful yolk,
Oh
his
god.
velvety
This is
yolk.
no. This is gross now. This is gross now.
Listen, it has to be
We've gone
creepy
into
for
gross realm. Ew, ew, ew. No, no, no,
it's
no.
it's got to be
But
creepy for someone else too.
there are connotations, not even connotations. What the hell's the word? Double entendres here that I'm just like, no, no, I'm good.
Not touching it.
I'm gonna take off the gory smock
hmm
and put the tool down, and then go back to the observation room and confer with. I have clues. I can't remember your character's name.
Elytrana,
Elytrana. Thank you.
Electrona.
special agent Elytrana.
And while I'm at it, I'm assuming Nabi and Clanker are still in the hall somewhere.
Yep. Yeah,
And
they're kind of like this is kind of like where they're stationed right now.
and he was at the helm and what?
The helm and cloak.
The helm and cloak. Okay. I'm going to send them to the helm and cloak,
hmm
and I'm going to tell them make sure to have a couple of guys with you, extra guys,
hmm
and find the greasy black-haired guy who looks a little shifty. I don't care if there's more than one of them in there. You bring them all.
Anyone who knows? Just
Anyone? Yeah, and if there isn't anyone there, bring anyone who knows him.
anyone. Okay. So they're okay. So they're enjoying their work tonight. You can tell. You can tell they're enjoying. They're liking the way this night has been going for them.
hmm
Um,
They actually like doing their jobs. That's unusual.
well, in this case, because you've basically sent them out on 3 separate occasions now to like
Uh-huh.
go retrieve people, and this is like,
And then I torture them for entertainment.
yeah, it's. Uh, sure, I'm not repeating things here. Okay, so they say, yeah, sure, yep, right on it, boss, and so they take off. They figure there'll be a few minutes for them to get down there, do what they got
As
to do.
as we're all leaving and walking down the hall, and they run off,
hmm
I'm going to take both my hands because I am not meat and I can't do it with one hand. I'm going to
Mhm.
bang on the door and say, Bertram!
And you're ah!
And then continue on down the hall, snickering as I go.
Okay, yeah, you hear like you hear that whimper from the other room, just because you know
hmm
this guy's been very thoroughly traumatized.
And I go to the observation room.
So Elytrana, what have you just been watching this?
Yeah, I've just been watching the chaos. 100% amused.
100% amused.
100% amused.
Uh, Okay, well, you guys are now both in this interrogation room. You see in your scrying pools, you've got, two guys hung up in the pillories. You've got, uh, what's his face? Douchebag McGrabby hands. Bertram hanging in there.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um,
Wait,
hanging
he's
out.
not
No,
hanging.
he's
He was just
hanging
sitting.
out.
Oh, okay.
He's hanging out now.
Well, he's in his own
Yeah,
Bertram. What?
yeah. He's got his. No, remember, he's in the one interrogation room.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
It's like he's hanging out. I mean, like, he should be at least chained to the. No, no, you went in there and you good
I
copped him.
unchained him. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She good copped him in the.
I good copped him. to make Brian extremely uncomfortable. To play a douche. Extreme doucheness. I need
Anyway,
a bath. I need a shower after that. Yeah, when you walk in, I think I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'm starting to not think that Bertram has anything to do with this other than that he is a douche.
Oh no.
Well,
I'm sorry. You didn't, unless you said, did you say that out loud, or you're just thinking that?
No, I'm saying it to you.
Oh, I'm like, oh no, he's totally involved. He either did the deal or he paid someone to do it.
Then we need.
It's
to
always
find...
the ones with the inheritance. And I'm putting, Percy's putting on serious, like, I've been in this thing a long time air is like, I know what I'm doing. Where it's obvious also that he's like, she's probably right.
I at least, let's see. We don't know anything. Wait, the greasy slick haired dude.
Mm-hmm.
What was his relevance to Mr. Douchey McGrabby Hands?
Probably the knife guy.
So, but
He's the one who, yo, that's what his friends say. And
Okay.
when we get him in, we're gonna have a little chat with him, and he's gonna confess. Everyone confesses eventually.
Everyone makes a mistake.
Okay. Everyone makes a mistake.
Percy's on a peg right now, and that's either going to make him go up another peg, or he's going to get knocked off of it. Knocked down it.
And there's a knock at the door, and messenger peeks his head in and says, "Detective Percy, Special Agent Electrona."
Mm-hmm.
And he just hands over a note.
Okay.
And then
I open it up.
Leaves, and it's on a piece of parchment, and it looks to be written in Noman's hand, but it's on the. It looks like it's on the letterhead of an apothecary, and I forget the name of the apothecary we sent him to. Roots and Things.
Roots and Things, yeah.
Roots and Things.
And he just has the words Sunset's Folly, and then underlined, and then underneath it he writes paralytic herb, and underneath that he writes tasteless, odorless.
Okay, so that's what he found out there.
Mm-hmm.
So tasteless, odorless.
And then underneath that, there's one more thing. It says, very rare, very expensive.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. What was it called again? Sunset what?
Sunset's Folly.
Okay.
So if it's rare, it's expensive. We should be able to track out where. Or wait, no. Did he find out that shop is where it got bought from?
That's all you see on the note. Just what the.
Okay, so we don't know.
Yeah.
What it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we need to find out where this was purchased from.
I'm gonna make an edit on that. It says odorless. It says tasteless, odorless until ingested.
Until ingested.
Yeah, because I just almost contradicted myself because they picked up on it from a smell, right?
Okay.
If it's odorless, then there would be no smell for them to.
It would also not be until ingested because we found a smell in the wine. The wine smell.
Instead of odorless, it says pleasant smell.
Okay.
Well, yeah. How about it's
non-suspicious smell?
Yeah, until it's wet of some
Yeah,
form. It's either infested or
non-suspicious.
put
Because
in.
there's things that if you smell it, you're like, I'm not drinking that. But this is probably subtle enough. He
It
somehow
doesn't smell
conveys
like
this in this
old.
in this quickly scrawled note. This is what happens when a one shot lasts for 3 game sessions.
I know. Uh, okay. So we need to go and find out where this was bought from, and then we can find out who bought it.
Do you, as an interrogator type person, have underworldy type knowledge type stuff? This is out of
I
character.
imagine I would
Flavor.
have a network.
Okay. I think that'll be helpful. I got
I mean,
Percy's basically just a natural born cop. This is effectively someone who's just like, I can figure this stuff out. I'm a cop. You're guilty. But
yeah.
doesn't exactly have a lot of underworld connections or anything like that.
Well, you may not have you're going to have snitches.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to have like maybe a wide network of them. You might not be as plugged in, but you'd have a few informants along the way.
Okay.
Yeah. People that you've done favors for, maybe they got pinched for like a small shoplifting situation and you were able to get the charge to go away, but now they're kind of in your pocket,
Mm-hmm.
So you might have one or two of those.
Yeah, DM, do I have anyone in my pocket that would know anything about herbs or sales of unsavory things?
Remind me what your archetype was.
I am, let's see. I am a charmer. I am proficient in persuasion and insights.
Yeah, you would have a network. Yeah, you'd have someone in your network, someone who knows a guy, just because that's the sort of the nature of how you go about getting your information. You're like the networker. You're the one that like walks into a party and introduces yourself to every single person in there, asks them how they're doing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm all about charming people. Is what this whole character is.
Yeah. So, so what is it? Who is it you'd be looking for?
Either because I'm assuming that if it's something rare or rich that's probably not meant for any kind of medicinal stuff, it's probably something black market. So just someone that would have knowledge of essentially black market type items, bought, sell, where I would be able to acquire something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's area of.
Yeah, there's a guy there's a guy that holds court down in the down by the docks. He's a networker as well, but kind of like for the other side. If there's like you have your charmer, which is the detective, and you're kind of doing it for law and order, using your powers for good. This is the guy who's on the other side, right? So it's not to this extreme, but Sherlock and Moriarty are the same person, just consulting detective, consulting criminal, sort of on the same lines. Where this he's kind of got the network, he knows what to do, but he plays in the gray. He plays in the gray area as well. He knows that, for him to be effective at his job, he can't be like, oh, you're a cop, I'm never going to talk to you about anything. He just needs to make sure he's very careful about what information he gives. And you've worked with this guy before.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell Percy that we're gonna go talk to my friend Foriarty.
I had a name, but that's now his name.
You can pick whatever name you want.
Nope, that's now his name. I had a name, and that's way better.
What was his name?
I was going to say Oswald, but Foriarty is way better.
So like,
actually, his name is Foriarty Oswald.
Foriarty Oswald. God, that's hard to say.
Foriarty Oswald. It's on purpose. That's hard to say because he does not like people saying his name too often.
Ah, clever.
Foriarty Oswald. All right. Are we going off like Oswald the Assassinator?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No,
that's
different Oswald.
Oswald. Okay.
Different. If someone there's a different Oswald that plays a very similar role who's
Okay.
who goes by another name.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna take a little quick travel over to Foriarty Oswald. Okay, Docs. Okay, that's
So
fine.
he actually has
An
he
office.
an office, and it's above a it's above a tavern, right
Okay.
on the um, um, right at the dock. So it's like like the bar is like right there. So a lot of sailors coming in, merchants coming
Mm-hmm.
in there. The bar is called the Sea and Stars,
Sea and Stars.
and his his office is upstairs, and there's kind of like from when you've been there before, he's kind of got like a common area where people kind of mill around, but then he's got like his private office, and that actually overlooks all of the docks. Like he's got the windows go from almost like wall to wall, floor to ceiling, and it's very symbolic of his of what he surveys is like in his domain type situation. Like he's aware
Okay.
of all this. So, but the Sea and
On my way
Stars.
up, I'm going to bring his favorite drink with me.
So, I mean, this is first thing in the morning.
So
Okay, not a problem. Percy, did you go with
maybe.
her for this?
I did not, because it doesn't seem like a good idea for like a regular cop to be going with her into a place to speak with him. He probably would not see her if I was there.
It's possible, yeah. Okay, so she's gonna go down to the docks and go meet with her. Um, uh, Go meet with her contact. What's your plan in the? We'll come back. We're gonna come back to the Sea and Stars in just a second.
Um,
Um,
Percy's plan is to stick around and wait for potential interrogatees to show up.
okay. Sipping his coffee,
It's like, which act am I going to use next?
lining up his cigars, getting his cigars ready, so he always has a fresh one ready to go.
Like this from least up, from like the nicest to the most disgusting smelling smoked cigar ever.
Like it's like that one's chewed down to almost a nub. You
Yeah.
know, the one that you've had to ash in your pocket because you've had like nowhere else to put it. All right, so we're gonna come back to that. So back to the Sea and Stars. So the Sea and Stars is like pretty much right on the docks. Like so, it's Baldur's Gate's got got its waterfront, and then it's like docks, a road, and then it's like all these warehouses and buildings, and of course there's gonna be a lot of bars and taverns down here for all of the sailors that are coming off and looking to tie one on for their brief shore leave, and also for the merchants who are looking to come down and make deals, legitimate and otherwise. The Sea and Stars is actually kind of a fair to middling tavern for this part of town. There's a lot of dives in this. This is definitely not the nicest of bars, so you're not necessarily going to see the most reputable of merchants in here, but it's nice enough that the ones that need to occasionally dabble in maybe uh, less than savory,
Savory.
yeah, deals, ones that kind of, if not necessarily break the law, maybe brush up against the edge of it
It's
from
a gray
time to
area.
time. Yeah, yeah, where there might be some room in the language, and how they can go, and it's fairly busy for a morning. At this point, it's not the sailors. The sailors aren't here tying one on first thing in the morning. They're probably already, getting busy they're loading the docks or loading and unloading the ships. So it's mostly at this point merchants and other folks. Again, if there's a spectrum of savory to unsavory, between a nicely done steak and a fire log that you have to lick, it's everywhere in between. The people that you'd be able to see,
Yeah, charcoal.
yeah, and but they're all kind of engaged in quiet conversation. No one. I mean, there's glances up, but no one like stops and looks agog at you walking in. Um, the bar, it's one of the barkeeps that they have there. Like a long bar along the side. This building actually goes pretty far back. because looks like they basically took over a portion of a warehouse and just basically put up a wall on each side, and they just turn it into a massive tavern bar, kitchen in the back. So, but there's a staircase that leads up around back. Um, there's a guard sitting in a chair who looks like he's asleep, but he's not asleep. He's doing one of those with the arms crossed, leaning back in the chair, and if you had not been here before, you would swear that this guy was just sleeping in his chair. But this is kind of like the appearance he likes to put on.
I'll just say hi, Frank, and give him a
Yeah,
bagel.
yeah, and he sort of cracks an eye and just he knows who you are. He knows that this is not an irregular thing. And you've already grabbed his drink, I guess.
Yeah, I got a drink for like, I don't know, maybe he likes breakfast mimosas. But
Okay, there you go.
I got Frank a bagel.
And you just sort of like toss it to him, and like without even
toss it to him. Hi, Frank.
It looks like without even him opening his eyes, he's like, and it's like one of those.
Yep. Exactly.
And
it's a routine.
Mm-hmm. And you go upstairs, and again, it's a rainy day, so you go up and he actually has his study doors open. It's like these double pocket doors that open.
Mm-hmm.
And he's and Foriarty there is sitting there at his desk. Looks like he's working on a ledger. Rain sheeting down, slate gray sky. It's almost, a storm like this is almost beautiful to watch as it comes in off the water like this. And he's making some notes. He's got like some. Looks like his breakfast half eaten sitting next to him. He's kind of like absentmindedly like taking bites of it as he's working, and he doesn't really notice you come in as you come walk. And this is like, I don't want to call it luxurious, but he's got like he's got some niceties around there.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like little knickknacks and trinkets on shelves, plates and whatnot. You never call it ostentatious. And in the middle, he's got this carpet that just really brings the room together.
There's always a carpet that really brings the room together.
Really
a rug.
great,
There's always a rug.
Like Italian rug.
Yeah. It just really brings the room together.
This is the cherry on top.
So he doesn't really hear you come in as you come walking up through the study there.
I'll be in full bubbly self and just be like, "Morning, foe. Brought you mimosa."
And he glances up and he goes, "Ah, Latrana, my dear, so wonderful to see you. What brings you out on this stormy morning?"
Oh, I'm hoping you can help me find something.
Yes.
I'm looking for a particular herb.
I didn't think you did that anymore.
No, not that one. We've moved on from that one. I'm looking for one. Oh wait, did I get like a physical description of what it looks like, or is it just the
name? Just the name.
Oh, the name. Well, I didn't hear the name.
Sunset's Folly.
Sunset's Folly. Okay. I'm looking to find where one would acquire some Sunset's Folly.
And he was like, he was looking at you, and he had his quill or writing utensil, writing implement, and he stops and he puts it down and he folds his hands and he just kind of looks at you, and you can't really get a read one way or another on him, and he's like, "That's very difficult to come by, from what I understand."
So I hear.
And not entirely legal.
Wait, did we find out it was illegal?
No, this is what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
We would know.
No.
Yeah.
We would know? Okay.
We would know.
Okay. This is also true.
Well, I mean, if these things are obviously possible to come by, but
Hmm.
I don't know that I'd be able to help with something like that. I mean, it's
Oh, come on. You know everyone around here.
this is true. What do you need it for?
I wouldn't say I necessarily need it. I need to find someone that may have already gotten it.
Ah, that's an entirely different question.
Yes.
I mean, I know people and people tell me things, but I something like this, I can't imagine people would want to talk about something like this could have some consequences and repercussions. I don't know that I would. I don't know if I'd want to get involved with something as unsavory as this. I
Well,
mean, this would be involved in violating people's.
no, you're not.
This
You
would
know you're
involve
not involved, Bo.
this would involve violating people's confidences that they place in me, and I just don't know if this would be the best possible scenario. You know,
Would
I
an
would love to help you.
extra would an extra year of the force looking the opposite way when you're running certain back things through the back market, would that help?
A whole year?
Whole year.
Wow.
This must be information that somebody must need to offer an entire
Somebody
year. I mean,
definitely needs.
uh,
I
roll a
love the.
roll a persuasion check for me.
All right. Yeah, 21. I got a 19.
Okay. He says, and you can see he starts, mulling it over. You can see, the gears. You can see he's doing some calculus in his head on this. He's working on what this would mean. And he says, I can ask some questions and I can find. When would you need the information by? If I were to be able to come across it.
Just as soon as you can get it. The sooner the better, I might add, though.
Hmm. Does this have anything
Or
to
if
do with that
you-
unpleasant business last night
There was, yes.
with
There
with
was-
Van Dyne? It's tragedy.
This does involve Van Dyne.
It's an utter tragedy. Yes, I can see why there's a sense of urgency around this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, far be it from me to not be a good citizen. We can't have people just going around cutting each other up all willy nilly.
No. No.
So
you can't.
let me look into it for you. Let me see what I can dig up. No promises, but I'll see what I can do.
I'll take that.
Is there anything else? We so rarely get a chance to see each other. You don't come around
How's-
nearly
how's-
as often.
How's Marge and the kids?
March.
Marge is wonderful. She's actually taken up sculpting. She's done some very
Oh,
fine
very,
pieces.
very nice.
She's has a natural eye. The kids are wonderful. Uh, they're looking now. They're just finishing up school. They're looking at going to university in Waterdeep now. I could not be prouder of the
Fabulous.
twins.
Oh,
They are the apples of my eye.
let me know when they graduate. I'll bring presents.
Of course, my dear. You must forgive me though. I must if I obviously have some inquiries to make. Of
No
course, you'll
problems.
have to. You must understand that what you do with this information, it mustn't come back to me.
Oh, never would come back to you at all.
Of course not. Well, thank you for stopping by, my dear.
Thank you for the help. So, I'll be at the station. Back to interrogating Mr. Douchey McGrabby
Back to interrogation.
Interrogation.
Trying to get confession. Um,
I was trying to think of like what goes well with that with ends in the ION. Like, I can't think of anything. And then you're like confession. Like
I appreciate your dedication.
which
ah!
which is then followed by conviction.
My brain is not functioning for
You
the
need to use your
wordplay.
persuasion.
Eventually, you retire and you'll be able to get your pension.
Oh god.
Please roll better on your perception.
The single greatest character that Chris Perkins has ever created in the history of Dungeons and Dragons.
As a talking lizard that speaks entirely in wordplay.
On a side note, it was still my favorite game they've played. Anywho.
Oh yeah.
Anywho. So. You had sent out Nobby and Clanger down to the Helm and Cloak.
Yes.
Which you know is a very expensive but very well rated feasting hall. Very, very popular amongst the those who are there to see and be seen. Among the Baldur's Gate elite. So you're not going to run into normal rabble. And now all of a sudden my audio doesn't work. Or no, it does. Never mind.
It's not to say I hear you just fine.
I was looking at the wrong
Oh.
slider. Anyway, so yeah, you know that this is like sort of where the rich and famous go.
Mhm.
You know, it's a very, very exclusive place. You know, you're gonna go. You're gonna get some amazing food from what you hear. But this is a place that likely you'd never have gotten a chance to dine in, just based on the price to eat there alone is just
Mhm.
through the roof, and that's even if they let you through the door. So Nobby and Clanger come walking back in to the interrogation room, or into the observation room. Empty-handed.
Oh.
And Nobby says, well, there was nobody there to get got, but I think we might have gotten a name.
All right, let's hear it.
And he starts like looking around in his tunic. He's like looking like playing around, and he looks at Clanger.
Bits of napkin.
And he gets like this. Well, they don't have really napkin, but it's more like this random scrap that he found somewhere, and it looks like he probably tore like a piece out of a ledger.
Mhm.
That he just quickly scrawled, and it looks and he says, and he's looking at it, and he's like, Remoric Dundarian. Now, you know the name Remoric Dundarian. Or you don't know the name Remoric, excuse me, but the last name Dundarian you do know.
Mhm.
As he is one of the that is the last name of one of the archdukes of Baldur's Gate.
Which one was it that was super concerned about getting this taken care of? Was that him?
No, it was. Hang on. Of course, I don't have that written down either. Why didn't I write that down? No. No. I really don't know why I never wrote that down. And that is shame on me. But no, it is not the same Archduke that you saw actually at the house, um, talking with your captain. So he says, but there was nobody there. Only the kitchen staff. They were getting the doing the prep work for tonight's service, and
Mhm.
I described the guy, and they said right away they knew exactly who that was. So, but we didn't think we should probably go to the Dundarian estate to go get him.
This feels like a thing I should probably pass on to the captain, but
But would your character?
I sort of think so. Like he would go after this dude, but he'd tell the captain first because this is a big deal name.
He wouldn't ask. He would just say, "Hey."
Yeah, this is this thing I'm going to be doing. So yeah, there's that.
And it's about this time that that Elytrana you'd be making it back. There was a long enough wait. It took them a while to get
Okay.
over to the bar, so it was probably about back. So you as you come back to the. I'm guessing you're going to come back to the observation room.
Yeah, and I'm gonna look in at the two and be like, why are they still here?
Yeah, did you release those guys?
Why
Nope.
are your Dumb and Dumber still here?
Oh, jeez.
The poor guy's probably made a giant puddle of pee on the floor over there. Let's get these guys out of here. There's no reason to hold him. You can hold Bertram all you want to. Hell, you can hold him forever for all I care. But those two, they're useless. That poor guy over there. Look at him. He is shaking. Look at him. He's in the corner.
See,
Or no,
the-
wait, he's
the-
hanging
the
still.
one
Never
guy-
mind.
No, they're both hanging
In the
pillars.
cage.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Chaz is basically like
They're sort of like
a
cocoon
sobbing
cages,
mess.
basically.
Like Chaz is like a sobbing mess. Like whatever
Yeah.
you did when you walked in, he was just convinced that you were about to like unhook an eyeball or something, and just this guy, he's got zero backbone. If he weren't being held up by the pillory, he would just be a puddle on the floor of like this sobbing mess of a person. Trent just seems more annoyed than anything else.
He's just bored.
Yeah.
I'm going to, or Percy is going to, have them both taken down.
Mhm.
At first, his reaction is going to be like, "Oh yeah, those guys." Whoops.
Oopsie.
All right, and then he's going to take a couple of the guys, and they're going to drunk tank them. Which is, I mean, yeah, we have a drunk tank, but when we're drunk tanking someone, we're dunking them head first into a big barrel of whatever nasty, and tossing them into the drunk tank, and then shutting the lights on and off, and acting like the whole night has passed. Just more psychological torture. Now they're going to be totally convinced that all this was that they went to the drunk tank when we were done with them. The barrel is the strongest stuff. Like anything you touch it, you get pissed drunk, and we're dunking them in it. It's just some sort of heinous dwarven stuff, basically.
It's the
Like dwarves dare each other to drink this.
you know what this is? This is the Zaganezzer.
Okay, Zaganezzer, the bad brew Zaganezzer.
Yeah, it's the Bad Brew Zaganezzer. It was given away as a donation. It showed up. There's this adventurers group that it came as a gift, just saying, to your health, compliments of Omendron. Thanks for all the hard work you do. You guys are the best.
And we use this as a pharmacological torture device.
Yeah, and it came with a signed picture from Jim Dark Magic.
I think Clues is frozen again.
Uh-oh. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Well, we shall. Either that or she's just really, really pleased as Punch.
No, I think she's frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to assume the worst. Hope for the best.
So we'll show.
She's pleased, but I'm assuming she's frozen.
Here we go.
Yep.
So we're going to pause for just a moment here. Wait for Miss Clues to come back. Oh,
Mhm.
here we go. Ta-da!
We do not hear you.
Dropped apparently.
There we go. We hear you now.
Now we can hear you. So,
Okay.
what time did you drop out? Was it?
They were going into the extremely drunk tank.
Yes,
Yes.
because they were dunked in a barrel of Zabanezer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was given to them with by compliments of omniferous Dron. Because
Terrible.
you can't sell the shit.
Terrible.
He knew
Can't
what you
sell
guys
this
were going to use it for.
Mm-hmm.
He knew exactly what you guys were going to use it for.
And it's a tax write-off.
It works. It's on brand. Right. Okay. So then you're going to convince them that they were just in the drunk tank all night.
Yeah.
Right. And now you have the name.
And then I'm going to have the whole part of this procedure is to you dunk them, you drunk them, and then you send a note out to their parents like, we got your kids in a drunk tank, come get them. We don't. They're screaming at us about being chained up, and it's really annoying. And meanwhile, the drunk tank there are no chains in the drunk tank. It's just a big room with a bunch of drunk people in it.
All about the gaslighting.
Yeah. Or torch lighting in this case.
It is Faerun by torchlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gives it a whole new dimension.
Oh God. And then I'm going to go to the captain and tell him we got a name of a knife guy or a middleman at least.
Eltron, are you with him when he delivers this?
Yeah, I imagine I'm going along to see the captain.
Okay. Yeah, basically like doing your report here, right? And so the captain's sitting there, and he's got this big wad of chaw, whatever tobacco, kind of like.
Is he a dragonborn? I forget.
He is, which makes
Okay.
it especially
All the more
fun.
disgusting.
Yeah, all the more just like little,
Because he's got no cheeks, he's just sort of like dribbling down at all times.
He saves it for special occasions, and he's looking tired. He's been up all night with you guys doing this. He's probably, been taking meetings all night, trying to assure people that the investigation is moving along, all the things that someone in this position would need to do. And he says, okay, what's the name?
Remoric Dondarian.
If it's possible for a bronze dragonborn to look like they go pale, or at least have the
Pale
color.
bronze. He turns a pale bronze.
He's a paler
Like
bronze.
Slightly beige.
Yeah, slightly beige. Bronzed dragonborn, and you get to see his eyes. You can see they narrow. How the pupils, they've got like the kind of. I imagine that the dragonborn had like those cat eye, like pupils, and they narrow down the slits. And you hear like kind of like this grumble from like deep within his gullet. He just goes, "It's that Dundarian, isn't it?"
Assuming that it's the
No.
that family.
That family.
Not that particular guy, but that family.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, that's.
Okay, yeah.
Those
That's
Dundarians, isn't it?
I'm just gonna pipe in and say it is.
I'm gonna go get him.
That's going to be complicated. And he kind of like scrapes this chaw out of his mouth. He opens up his desk drawer, and he's got like a little container for it. It's kind of, you hear like this wet splat.
Slurp.
Yeah, is it? And then he just breaks out a box of like these massive stogies. And he opens up
Dragonborn sized stogies.
Yeah, and he and he gestures towards you, like offering you one.
Don't mind if I do.
And he gestures to you, Elytrana. No. And he does that. And I'm trying to remember. Bronze dragons don't have what's their breath weapon?
Poison?
Poison. All right, this wouldn't work then. I was gonna say he lights it himself, but that wouldn't. Um, but he like goes over to like a torch on the wall, like one of the lamps, opens it up, he spits out the end, does lights the end of this, and slumps down on one of his chairs, and he just says,
Well, bronze is lightning, so he could kind of spark it.
Is
"That's
it?
true, yeah."
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh well. And anyways, he uses. I don't think you want to use lightning to light a.
It's with panache.
It's like a very low breath, like a.
Yeah. You sort of breathes on it. The smell of ozone fills the air as this thing lights. And he lights yours for you, and he gets a couple puffs, and he goes, "If we walk in there, this has to be airtight. Because if we're not, the shitstorm that is going to rain down on us, I'm out, you're out." Points to you, Elytra, gestures to you with the cigar, Elytron. He goes, "You're lucky if you get out. They might decide to keep you and just make your life hell. These guys are powerful. We need to be airtight on this. What do we have? What do we have that connects them?"
I'm gonna push it to Percy because he's got the most on Mr. Dendarian.
We got the. Can't believe we tortured him so much, and I can't remember his name. We've got Bertram talking to this guy frequently.
I mean
about,
nothing to
Douchey
you.
McGrabby hand. Douchey McGrabby hand.
I mean that little to you.
We got Douchey McGrabby hands in the downstairs, and two witnesses saying that whenever he started going on about how much he hated his dad and how much he'd want his money, this guy had come in and start talking to him. And they've been talking a lot lately.
Elytrana, do a history check.
Okay. I don't have all of that.
That's okay. That would just be, I guess, intelligence.
Just a straight D20, probably.
With your intelligence modifier.
You didn't give me any, so I'm gonna assume it's 0. Ooh, 6. Okay.
Okay. You remember nothing.
I know nothing.
Who am I? Where am I from?
What am I doing here?
Did I forget to turn the stove off?
No.
Do I have a stove?
No, I'm a fucking squirrel. Did I leave the gas on?
So no, a fucking squirrel.
No.
Meanwhile, the forest is burning down.
He's like, we need more than just them having a conversation. We need motive, opportunity. We need something beyond just that they had a conversation. Listen, if you're just going to go talk to the guy, we can do that. But I don't think we're going to be able to bring him in here. They're going to want to. They're not going to let him leave the premises.
I'm willing to bet you anything that whoever provided the Sunset Folly provided to him.
That's it.
Or he provided it.
That's a pretty expensive drug.
That's right. We haven't told him about that, have we?
No, this is the first he's hearing of it.
No.
Yeah. So I forgot to mention.
Oh yeah.
Tormund,
by the way,
Tormund had it in the system.
By the way.
That's why there were no defensive wounds. That's why he bled out the way he did.
He also had the scroll work runes on his heart.
Yeah. I can go downstairs and I can talk to Bertram. And I big big put big air quotes around the word talk.
Mhm.
I can
Um,
talk to
I can go
Duke.
talk to Bertram, and we can find out what his connection is to Remoric Dondarrion.
So the Dondarrions would have the connections to, or at least the financial wherewithal to procure something as rare as that. This is why I need you guys to be careful.
I'll throw in that I have knowledge of someone looking into finding out where the Sunset's Folly was purchased from.
We're going to need that.
I'm waiting on it. That info.
And he takes a thoughtful couple puffs off of his cigar here. And you notice this cigar is a little bit different because the smoke actually falls down. It's like a heavy smoke that actually, it's just whatever is in this, whatever this tobacco or whatever this is. And you notice, uh, Percy, that it has a bit of a spicier, but almost earthy taste.
Hmm.
So, but just know you do know you've seen him smoke these things before, so it's not like, oh my god, I'm shocked. But just a contextual.
Is it comically large for me because it is
It probably would be.
it's a Groucho Marx cigar?
Yeah, yeah. This is like a cubano, like a
Oh God, yeah,
enormous,
that's
but
a
for him,
log.
yeah. Um, and he says, "We've kept this confidential because we didn't want to create any kind of stir with the populace, with the nobles." This isn't the first one we've found done like this.
First dead person with a runic heart.
This isn't the first one we found that
That's good to know.
we're trying to keep it
Now,
quiet because you can only imagine what would happen if it got out that we had a serial killer. But this is
oh
the third
goody.
one.
Third,
Is it
great.
the third one?
Hmm.
And how is it that we didn't know?
Who investigated the other two?
They were just sort of two different districts.
Oh, so
And
it wasn't our district.
no, it wasn't this district. And the first one was a prostitute. The second one was a courier. Same MO on both. I think between it being two separate districts and because, not that I'm saying this, but who cares if a prostitute gets offed? It doesn't raise the same kind of hackles the way it does
Mm-hmm.
now that Van Dyne has been killed. But his MO is the same. I knew about the first two just through the different reports I'm hearing, and no one really thought much of it. They just thought it was exaggerations, but this is the same MO. But this is the first time that we have something beyond just the wounds.
It sounds like the first two were probably testers.
Probably. And to be honest, I don't know if anybody bothered to look at the hearts. I just know that's where the stab was. I know they were stabbed that way. I know there was some form of partial vivisection. But because these were, for lack of a better term, relative nobodies, the same attention to detail wasn't put into these particular murders. But this is the same MO. So you can see where if we're going to walk into the if we're going to walk into the Dundarian estate, we have to have everything. In fact, we're probably going to have to figure out how to get him out of the estate, but I don't even know if that's doable. But the first thing we have to do is we have to be able to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. We have to be airtight. We need to be able to put the Sunset's Folly in his possession, and we need to be able to prove that he would be capable of something like this. If we can get those two pieces of evidence, we can take the next steps.
Okay, so while we're waiting on my informant's knowledge on where it might be acquired, maybe we can let's see. They saw him at the bar, right? That's where they saw him.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can go to the bar and talk to them and get confirmation that he was at the bar first.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know of any of his friends? Like, if he's a well-known figure, do we know of any close people to him?
Are you asking this of the captain, or are you just asking if you know this?
I'd probably ask the captain, because
he's like, to be honest with you, I don't know. They keep to themselves. The Dundarians really keep to themselves. They don't really leave their compound terribly often. I don't know that he has a lot. I know that Ramoric was sent away to school very suddenly when he was a teenager. They sent him to Waterdeep, and then he did, if I remember, they sent him up to Neverwinter for university, and he only recently returned.
Did he come back before or after the first murder?
Before. He says, I think you guys have stumbled on to our prime suspect here.
we just don't know why, like what his motive is.
We don't know why. We know how.
We know how, we just don't know why.
But that's what us knowing and us proving are two separate things. So what we need to do is we need to figure out, because from what you guys are telling me and what I saw, this wasn't just some hack job. Correct?
No. The basically coroner's report said that this was done with precision.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say go check out the bar. You might be able to get a little bit. The two of you might be able to get some more information. Then, because I'm sure you told him that Nabi and Clanger went down there. I mean, we're getting some greater detail.
They're useless.
Well, they have their uses, but I think
they get people good.
You guys will be able to handle this a little bit more deftly. I think we need to start there. If we could figure out those things, we can talk about next steps.
Okay. Yep, that's where I'm headed off to then.
Percy, are you going with her to the helm and the cloak? Or are you going to pursue a different angle in this?
I think we're going to have another chat with Bertram.
Okay.
He's been up now for almost 24 hours.
Yeah. Because you've probably given people instructions to, as soon as he starts falling asleep, go in there and, just...
Everyone does their best meat impression and knocks on the door. Like, oh my god, no!
Oh god.
All right, so Elatrana, you're gonna go. You're gonna be en route to the helm and the cloak.
Well, before I leave, I wanted to see if there was a way that I could. Do we have any in our world? Do we have any form of quick messaging system?
Sending stones.
Like, can I magic scroll something?
Who are you trying to scroll it to? Who are you trying to?
To Neverwinter University.
You could. Okay, so there are messaging services where you could basically pay. It's almost like a Telegram type situation, and
Okay.
they'll send the message, and then they can get relayed the message back, and it takes as long as it takes someone to respond. It's not like a telephone or a scrying pool, but it's like there are services that you could use, but that you guys would have at your disposal. But it's like they reserve it for like serious situations. It's not like something you'd be able to do every day, right? It's
Okay.
like it's not like,
But
oh, we could go talk to Waterdeep anytime we want because that's yeah.
it's not quite email, effectively.
Yeah, it's more like Telegram.
Yeah,
So it takes some time to send and it's
that's
expensive.
fine.
And it's expensive.
That's what I want to do,
Yeah.
and I want to pay for it.
Okay.
I have 50 gold.
Well, I imagine you could probably just tell the captain that it has to be done, and he'll do it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's true.
this is the kind of situation where the captain would be like, yeah, we need to pull out all the stops. Don't worry about it. Bill it to the department. We'll figure that
Okay.
part out later.
So I want to go do that real quick before
yeah.
I leave.
You imagine that having had a conversation with another archduke, this is starting to reach higher levels where
Okay.
budgets can be finagled. So you're going to stop. I guess you'll stop at one of those services along the way.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep. I'm gonna ask for Mr. Dundarian's course history.
Okay. All right. So you talk to one of the clerks. You write down what it is you want them to send.
Yeah.
And basically, you have your waiver from the department saying, charge our account. You have your letters of.
Yeah.
What would that be called? The
Mm.
letters of
credit.
Yes,
Letters
thank you. Letters of credit. Thank you.
Yeah. I just want a course schedule and anything of note on this particular student.
Okay. So while you're doing that and traveling that, Percy, are we paying a visit
Yes, we are.
to Bertram?
Poor Bertram.
What have you cooked up for us this time?
Get your douche hat on, Brian.
Hang on,
It's
wait,
all
wait.
it's all very clean cut and simple. I'm just going to walk in there very calmly.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I'm going to have an entirely different pile of papers in a folder.
And this time, for some reason, the door doesn't squeak. It
doesn't.
You know how to lift it.
Before it was just meat going. Ee!
Everything is like ultra silent, like a ghost has entered the room.
Yep.
My steps make no sound. Nothing
Very
makes a
soft
sound.
click. Yes, you're very.
The other folder is still in the garbage can in the corner.
Effectively, like it's as if like I'm not even. He sees me walking in there. He can't tell if it's a hallucination or not. Yeah, that's how
He's
quietly I'm walking
so
and doing
tired at this
everything.
point.
Until finally I blow smoke in his face and like, all right, so we got a guy in another room. What's he gonna tell me? What is Remoric Dundarian going to tell me? Greasy black hair.
I think I remember talking to a guy
Mm-hmm.
that looked like
Throw
that.
some
But
water in his face.
he's like, and you can see he's like racking his brain, and you don't know if it's just from him being exhausted or what. But he's just like, I don't know what he's going to tell you.
How much do I believe this? How sincere does he seem? I mean,
perception or insight?
Insight. My brain's not doing math. 17.
17. You think he's being truthful and that he's having difficulty recalling, that he's not putting on airs. He's not putting you on like, oh, I don't remember who this dude is, because you've seen douchebag Bertram.
Yeah.
You've seen horrified Bertram. This now you're seeing exhausted Bertram, which might be the closest you ever get to seeing the actual Bertram.
Normal Bertram.
Normal as whatever passes for normal. Because
it's as close to a normal human being that he gets is when he's like up for 24 hours straight after having been scared to death.
Yes, worried that he was going to get that from the first round of the interrogation to dealing with Meat to dealing with Elytrana in a completely different context, and he's just very, very confused right now. And he's just like, I got like blackout drunk, and I was this at the Helm and Cloak?
Let me jog your memory here. This is the guy you complain about your dad a lot to. How much you hate him. Maybe even how much you'd like to see him dead. Or maybe even how much money you're going to get when he dies.
And you see the color just drain from his face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like he says, no.
This is your chance.
No.
You tell me what he's going to tell me. We can maybe avoid the gallows at least. You'll probably spend the rest of your days in a pit somewhere digging holes for people, but you'll be alive.
All I did was complain to him.
And what did he say?
He said, what would happen if he's dead? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my. And he just, whatever was left, I mean, just
blur.
Just.
Well, I did give him that crepe or something. So.
Well,
yeah.
But then there was like the stuff before.
Yeah.
Before
all the alcohol. All the alcohol.
Yeah.
And it was just
things he ate back in elementary school.
His shoes are on the floor. Now he just, you get to see just all over the floor, and he's just like almost in shock now. They're going, no, oh my God, no, oh my God, what did I do? And he's just like, almost like, he's like, as best you could tell, he's like in shock at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as the pieces are clicking together. And you just sit there stoically and just let him stew?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, this poor guy.
And he's like,
I'm gonna stand up, and as I walk out, I'm gonna look over and I'm like, he's gonna tell me some stuff. And he's gonna talk.
And at this point, he's just sitting there like, doing like the rocking thing, going, "Oh my God, what? No, oh my God, and he's just like kind of like, you're not sure you'll be able to get an intelligible thought out of him at this point. He just seems like totally in shock over what you're implying.
As Percy walks out, he's going to imply that he's letting Bertram stew for a bit. Mm-hmm. When he comes back, he's going to want a full accounting, because if his story is not going to match up with the other guy's story, or if this other guy starts saying this guy did this and said that, you're on the hook, buddy. So, yeah, I'll be right back.
and the door closes silently.
Mhm.
Soft click as the door locks. Um, so Elytrana, you've made your way over to the helm and the cloak. This is a
Mm-hmm.
nice establishment. It's like gleaming white stone, pillars around the front
It's
doors,
pretty.
and like these very beautifully worked oak doors that when you go to push them open, they just are perfectly balanced and open without any kind of effort and don't squeak at all. This is just very, very well maintained. And you walk into this opulent, uh, um, opulent feasting hall where just like there's
Mm-hmm.
private tables, there's long tables for like large group gatherings, carpets. The floor stones are just polished and gleaming. There's family sigils like hung on the walls. Um, uh, um, this is a place of old money. This is where the elite. You could tell. I mean, and the smells coming from the kitchen are already are just delicious. And we're still like morning, so it's not like they're really getting into the full prep mode. But these are like they're just starting to roast the meats that are going to be roasting for 8 hours, and just some succulent smells coming out of the kitchen. But this is you make a for a cop you make a decent living because you with your special agent rank. You're not uh, without some means. You're never.
Yeah.
But this is like beyond anything that you've
This
seen
is
before.
outside my scope.
Yeah. What do you do?
Uh, well, since there's like, I always start with the bartender.
Mm-hmm.
Bartenders know everything, so I'd probably go over to the bartender
Mm-hmm.
and start with some casual, grab a drink kind of thing.
Well, this isn't. They wouldn't be serving at this point. This is like they're not. They're only
What
open for
time of
like.
day are we at?
So we're like morning, probably mid morning by this point.
Oh, okay.
So they're just. So he's doing the prep, and this is like he's very carefully rotating the wine bottles in the rack. You know how they always have to like turn them to make sure
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And he's as he's doing it, he's like carefully wiping everything. He's like very very meticulous. This is like 3 Michelin star.
Okay.
You know,
No.
this is like uh uh what am I thinking of? This is like a 3 Xanathar star. You know,
Okay. So then I'll probably just kind of get his attention.
there's a sketch of Volo in the corner.
Oh
Volo,
God.
Volo ate here. It's a picture of
God.
it. It's a picture of Volo and Elminster. Sitting there like, yeah, just
Terrible.
Tendrils coming out all over the place.
Terrible. Okay. So I'll probably just grab his attention.
Mhm.
Say, excuse me. I'm wondering if you could help me here. And I'll go over the brief description of Mr. Dendari, and maybe I'll have like sketched a little image. Well, if he's a prominent figure, would we have access to like essentially a picture, for lack of a better?
Probably only if he had contact with the police.
Okay,
But
so I'll probably have made like a little rough sketch of what he looks like on my way over,
mhm.
and be like, "Have you ever seen this particular person in here?"
And he looks
I'll like
and
show him.
he says, "Oh yeah, that's Remoric.
Okay.
Quiet kid.
Quiet. Okay.
Mhm.
What does he normally do when he's here?
He orders one drink. He sits in he sits in the corner and he basically just watches. He doesn't bother anyone. He just
He doesn't have any friends with him.
no, always comes in alone.
Okay. Do you know about what time he comes in, or does he have like a regular when he likes to come in?
No, no, he's not a regular like that. I mean, he comes in a couple times a week, but not on any kind of regular schedule.
Okay.
But
When was the last time you saw him here?
2, 3 nights ago.
Okay.
You know, it's funny, and I actually remember him actually talking with someone that night.
Okay. Do you remember what that person looked like?
Uh, yeah,
If
actually, I
it's
think it was
Bertram, I'm
that.
going to kill someone.
I think it was that Van Dyne kid.
Ah, god damn it. Okay.
Yeah, I just remember them talking. I just remember it being odd because Remorque doesn't really ever talk to anyone. And I gotta tell you, I mean, the Van Dyne kid, blind drunk,
Of
blindingly drunk.
course, I've
I
heard
mean,
that.
he was just like, we had to kick him out of here. I mean, it was
Oh,
beyond the pale. I mean, he
on that
was.
night?
Yeah, I wasn't like we told him and his friends they had to go. He was with those two other people. Um, but
Dumb and Dumber. Yep.
yeah, but I just found it to be odd that they were having that company. Yeah, the Van Dyke kid, he was rip roaring drunk. I mean, I barely walking under his own power.
That seems to be his MO.
Yeah, we had him actually go out the back door. We don't want them, we didn't want them to be seen in the street out front. So we called him a foober and had him go out back and.
Did
It's a thing now.
It's a thing now.
It's a thing. It exists. Did Remort go with him?
No, he just
Okay.
he just went back to the corner where he always sits and just sat. But now, I swear he had a really, really odd expression on his face. I really can't describe it, but it was different.
It's different.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just
Do you know
like
about
he was
what
at
time
peace. He almost looked like he was at peace. It was weird
Okay.
because he's usually kind of like squirrely looking.
Okay.
You know?
Do you remember about what time he left?
Which one?
Remorque.
Oh, so this was 2, 3 nights ago. Before midnight. Between 11 and midnight. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
It was a busy night. Just
Yeah,
looked over and he wasn't there anymore. So
that's understandable. Okay. Well, thank you for your help. That actually helps.
no problem.
Let's see. I'll probably.
My mom was a cop, so I feel like kind of obligated to help you out. I know some people around here don't always like
Mom's
that.
an awesome lady.
Remember, watch lives matter.
Yes. God.
Oi.
Go ahead, Percy.
Back to Percy.
After relaying what
I'm gonna take my Fuber.
Did you give so when you dropped off your message, did you let them know where they should deliver it, or is it a case where you're going to stop back in and check to see if they heard back?
I'm headed back to the station to check my message.
Okay. All right.
I do not know. I was originally going to have Percy go to the restaurant and meet up with Latrana. And maybe talk to the waitstaff.
Oh, well, we could do that. Do we just want to?
Yeah, if that, I'll just.
Do we use our time
I'm not
machine?
taking my Uber.
Well, I mean, the amount of time it took her to go to and have the telegram sent, probably how much time it took me to, or Percy to, have that little conversation.
Yeah. So you
And
could
then
have left
leave.
right after that
Right.
and gone right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Probably
fine.
would have
Okay.
caught up with her.
So as you're wrapping up your niceties, Elytrana, Percy comes walking in, and Percy, this is like a definite contrast where like Elytrana being an elf, right? We said you're
I'm half
half elf. They,
half
they
elf.
they they carry themselves with a certain air, right? A certain grace, and with her being a special agent and generally what she's wearing for work, it's not. While this is a way above her station, there's a certain comfort there. When you walk in, this is like Columbo walking into, you know, where he's perfectly, you're perfectly fine at home. There's this doesn't make you uncomfortable at all. But there's a stark contrast.
Okay.
Um, because I still in my head I still see in my head canon Percy is Columbo walking into this place.
I feel like Percy is Columbo meets Sam Vimes.
Yeah,
Um, like
with a mean Columbo with a really mean streak, with a
yeah.
sadistic streak. Because Columbo would never do the things that you have done.
No, he wouldn't. Sam Vimes though, he would do that just for grins.
Just for shits and giggles.
Um, yeah. So probably see her wrapping things up with the bartender, and I'm gonna ask him who waited on the table for them that night,
Uh,
or who specifically waited on Remork. I mean, are they in?
nah, no, they're not. They're not in yet.
Okay.
No, they're not. They're not. The wait staff won't be here for another couple hours yet. I mean, they've got to do their prep work and get the specials, and they've got work that they need to do. But we're not going to see them for another couple hours. To be honest with Remork, I think he pretty much comes to the bar, he gets his one drink, and then he sits down. He doesn't eat anything. He never gets more than one drink.
Oh, he was at the bar. He wasn't at a table.
No, he gets the drink, and then he goes to like a corner
Okay.
seat. Um, and yeah, he has the one drink every single night. Yeah, yeah. He's an odd duck. He's an odd duck. Is there anything I can help you with, or
Uh, no, no.
okay? So, as you're at the bar having this conversation, Clanger comes crashing through the door,
Uh,
and it's obvious he's been running. And Clanger's a little on the heavy set side, so um,
Poor Claire.
this was obviously a cardiovascular effort for him to make that. He's panting, and he's just like, "Yeah, these are for you. You had to see him now." And he's just like, He's like,
who's he giving this to?
he's just holding them up to either one of you. And he's got like two messages in his hands, and he's just like, "For you."
Oh.
Please.
Slow grab.
You've been calling him Clanger this entire time. I was convinced he was a Warforged.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he clangs. Clanger.
He can still be a heavy clanger.
Yeah.
Heavy clanger.
So he's sitting there, and he's got a hand on a knee, and he's like, "Someone, please, just I can't."
He doesn't even realize that Electron has taken the notes yet. He's just
Yeah,
like,
he's just-
take him. Take him.
So Elytrana, you have two notes in your hand. One is from the messenger
Okay.
service, and one is not labeled as to who it's from.
Okay, I'll
Mhm.
I'll look at my note for the university real quick.
And you read
I-
through. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna I'm gonna look to see if there's any particular notes as far as if there was anything of note for his character
Hmm.
or incidents, and then I looked for any kind of medical history class course schedule.
It's funny
or
you should mention that.
magical-
It's funny
Go
you
ahead.
should mention that because as you're reading through what is hastily written down from the transcripts, uh, it does say that he was at one of the universities at Neverwinter uh, for essentially what it counts to be pre-med.
Okay.
Um, but it doesn't say why he left, but it looks like he ended his schooling early and switched
Okay.
majors from pre-med to Arcana.
Okay.
So he had some of the fundamental classes, like basic biology, anatomy, things of that
Yep.
nature, and then at some point he switched over to um, Arcana. It almost looks like mid-semester. He switched over to Arcana, and then it says discharged from university, conduct unbecoming.
Conduct unbecoming. Okay. I'm gonna take my mental notes of that and then open up the other note.
The other note is in a familiar hand. You know that this is from Foriarty. Foe.
Okay. Foe.
Foe.
What does my foe say?
Here's your foe say, and he never signs his notes. He always it's like in perfect block print.
Yeah.
But you know that this is what he does to make sure that no one knows that this, should that ever fall into wrong hands. Um, so you get the note, and it says you can see it's actually a shipping manifest. It looks like notes on that, and it says sunfruit, and
Okay.
it says crates, and it has like a crate. It says like the size of the crate, which is a fairly large sized crate. Um, sunfruit, and it looks like the import. Uh, it looks like when you look at the bill of lading that says where it went through, it says it was imported to Baldur's Gate via Neverwinter from uh, it looks like prior to that it was dropped off by traders from near the spine of the world, which is a pretty remote area, very
Yeah.
far north. But you know that sunfruit doesn't come from there. Sunfruit comes from much farther south,
Okay.
and um, and it goes through it goes through like all the different bill of lading, bill of lading, bill of lading, and then the signature at the very or the name at the very bottom for the final person to receive this. You don't recognize the name, but you recognize there's like a copy of a sigil, like almost like a stamp, like you'd put in wax,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and um, you just recognize the or you don't recognize it, but you see like this. So like it was sketched out, like almost like a coat of arms.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and are you showing this to Percy at all, or are you just kind of reading this to yourself, or
Right now, I'm just looking at it for myself.
do a perception check, please?
Okay. Mm, 13.
So as you're reading that, you look up and you remember that there's all of these house sigils
Mm-hmm.
along the wall there, and the one right in front of you matches the one that's been sketched out on this bill of lading.
Okay.
And right beneath the bill, right beneath the sigil on the wall, is a little brass like etched plaque, and it
Mm-hmm.
says House Dundarian.
All right.
And with that, the note from Foriarty actually bursts into flame and quick like burns up like flash paper.
I imagine I'm used to that.
Yeah, that's his MO. He doesn't want
Fancy.
anyone being able to trace
Yep.
that back to him. So, but it basically says that this sun fruit from the air from there and the Sunset's Folly, you do know that is something that's grown in a remote valley in the north.
Okay.
So,
South.
no, the sun fruit is in the south. The Sunset's Folly.
Oh.
So you
okay.
can see where on this bill of lading it was made to look like something else was in this crate. Sun
Okay.
fruit.
Yeah, sun fruit.
Yeah. Because you're not
Okay.
just going to label, like, it's not like you're going to ship something and stamp on the outside cocaine.
Cocaine. You want it by now.
You're going to call it
Right.
something else. Flour, perhaps. Baking soda.
Coffee.
Coffee.
As it also
Completely
comes from
innocuous
Colombia.
white powder.
So, it, with that, we're going to, I think we're going to call it tonight's game.
God damn it.
Yeah, we've just.
Part 4.
It's going to be a part 4.
Oh my god.
Maybe. We can,
I think we're at a point though that if we do a part 4, it's not going to take us very long.
What are
No.
we doing tomorrow?
but I have plans.
'Kay.
So, I have plans. It'll all make sense. Anywho, so for those of you who suffered through our technological difficulties in the first 45 minutes tonight, thank you very, very much. Coming up this week, we've got Late to the Game. That's on Wednesday at 9, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That'll be
No. Oh no, Late to the Game's on Tuesdays.
Tuesday. Excuse me.
Tuesdays at 8.
8. 7
Yeah, we
Central.
don't do anything on Wednesdays because we all like to watch
The C
the C
team.
team.
I forgot. I
Yeah.
apologize for that.
no,
Where
we
you will be
just saw
going
Wednesday
starting
in the morning.
Continue 32 for Legend of Zelda.
Yes, and I believe I just finished
31.
dungeon number 4, and I
Oh.
found the raft. I found the raft, so I can get to dungeon number 4.
Ah,
So I just have to get myself across the water.
okay. And then no Monkey Monday or WoW Wednesday this week, or 3-2-1. 3 guys, 2 top, or no, is it
3 topics, 2 guys,
3 guys,
and
1
3
stream?
topics, 2 guys, 1
1 stream.
1 stream, right? Yeah. But no 3-2-1 as he's on the road. Unplugged tickets for Penny Arcade Expo go on sale on Thursday. So if you're planning to go, please do. We're all planning to be there. Again, we are not an official affiliate of Penny Arcade or its subsidiaries or anything like that. We're just having fun. And last thing that we have on the schedule is Making the Game on Friday night. We'll start that stream around 10 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll be back here with Team Xenagog. Back in the Chandlewood in 2 weeks. We will finally get back to the main campaign.
I don't even remember what our dudes are doing. I have to who am I? What's
Your
my
thoughts.
motivation?
And we're going to do some negotiation.
Okay, negotiate. Yeah, that's right. We're all about to go and do some. We're all alternate characters. I still have.
Yes.
that
Oh, thank
paper
goodness!
over
I just
here.
found it. I'm like, where did it go?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
there
this
it is.
So we're going to have some
I
fun
don't
with
even
that.
get to play my character. I'm playing this alternate character.
Now we'll get into that in 2 weeks though. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I don't think we're doing
Are we
table
doing a
talk because I
table
know
talk?
that the Viking Goat has
Okay.
got a jet, but we will catch up with everyone
Oh,
later.
that's right.
Follow us
Well,
on
you guys
Twitter
can table
at
talk.
EatDrinkRoll. Follow us on Twitch at EatDrinkRoll. Follow us everywhere at EatDrinkRoll. Anyway, guys,
EatDrinkRoll.
have a fantastic week. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bye.